Welcome to another episode of The Wellness Way. Hey, today we're diving into a fascinating topic that touches pretty much every aspect of our lives: how emotions and beliefs impact our wellness. Hi, I'm Susan Flerchinger. Alongside me is Jennifer Farrar, my wonderful co host and energy healer. And we explore every one of these episodes that how our inner world shapes our physical, mental, emotional health, what we can do about reacting and leading the life that we want to have in all ways, and especially the energetic impact of that. We truly want you to have the power of positivity guiding your life. And we love to help you through all that in these episodes. Again, I'm Susan Flershinger, your vibrant energy engineer. And I help entrepreneurs create pain free, up leveled, vibrant energy so that they can live the extraordinary life and calling that they were designed for. Jennifer?
I thank you. I am Jennifer Farrar. Healing Peace Within is my business. And what I help you do is I help you remove, release your mental, your physical, your emotional, and even spiritual obstacles. Those things that are telling you, no, I can't do, no, I can't have, no, I can't be. Who the heck am I? All of those affect how we live and what we think we can create. So I help you release all that so that you can create and actualize your best life. Or if you're an entrepreneur like Susan and I, the best business possible. So I ask you one question. Are you ready to take action? And I'm going to help you do that. Susan.
So, okay. So, whether you're on this journey with us as a seasoned traveler or this is brand new to you, we are going to share this link between emotions, beliefs, overall wellness in this How Emotions and Belief Impact Your Wellness episode today. But before we go jump into that, Jennifer, will you give us a quick recap of our last episode?
Sure. Our last episode was so powerful. We talked about the vagus nerve, the nerve that runs from your brain all the way down into your digestion area. So, what it does is it helps regulate, well, it does, not helps, but it does regulate the parasympathetic nervous system. It regulates, helps regulate our heartbeat, our digestive system, because it runs through all of that and it influences our mental health, our emotional health, our connection to our immune system, and even plays a role in our breathing. And Susan?
If you were able to see our episode last time, we had a couple of techniques because we have learned that your vagus nervous is dysregulated when you're anxious, when you're overwhelmed, where you're in a fight, flight, or freeze mode. And so we gave you a couple exercises when you notice that you're in that state that are pretty quick and easy. And it might take practice to be able to jump right into those. But when you are feeling any of those, again, anxious, overwhelmed states, we taught you again that diaphragmatic breathing that has a really deep feeling and sensation and almost a visual of breathing the breath in, breathing the breath out. And then the other one that we taught that was really pretty unique to the vagus nerve health was humming, that vibrational humming and how that regulates the vagus nerve. So we did both those exercises last time. And so feel free to hop on if you didn't catch that and watch that last episode and allow yourself to learn and try out and practice those techniques to help your health of your vagus nerve.
And we're going to give you a bonus technique today that is really quick. So it's two quick breaths in. And then out through the mouth. And when I was doing this morning, I heard hip hooray. So think about that in your brain when you
Good.
breathe in really quick and out. And do that until you feel your vagus nerve calm down. And you can tell, as Susan said, our vagus, when it's dysregulated, we're in that fight, flight, or freeze, or we're anxious, or whatever negative emotional state that we're in. That technique will help you calm that down. So
Mm.
I was super excited to give that. I almost jumped in before you gave us your information because I love that exercise because you can do it anywhere. You can do that anywhere because you don't even need to close your eyes. You just do it. And I love doing it in the car, especially if someone cuts me off. So I don't go into the road rage. I can nip that negativity emotion in the bud and be able to drive and enjoy my driving.
I'll add to that really quickly. That point where you can say stop that flow that you're on that's taking
Yep.
you in a direction that you don't want to be and doesn't help any of the situation or your health. It's that what that thing is that can help you stop and pause the fastest and redirect. And truly, as we're seeing, the breath is one of those things that is immediate.
And it's the
Well,
one thing that you can do yourself.
yes,
And
exactly.
that's what we both of us like about it because that's what we both teach our clients to be able to do.
Hey, we are ready to jump into our episode for this week and how emotions and beliefs impact our wellness. And we're going to have a little discussion about what all that means. And truly, that you have by being aware of those things in your body, in your thoughts, you can affect and adjust what is going on in your present moment and moving
Mhm.
forward. And so we want to share how that all works. So, Jennifer, I'll let you go from there.
This is one of my favorite topics because as an empath, I deal with emotions all the time. I am awash in emotions every moment of my day. So I wanted to let you know that emotions, yes, they are feelings. It's how you feel mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, but they're also energy. And energy affects our physical and our mental state. And so I want you to think of instead of, oh, I'm depressed, oh, I'm happy, or oh, I'm sad, think of them as guideposts, as guides on how you deal with other people, how you walk into a room. They are guides on how you navigate your life and even create your life. So, every emotion carries a unique vibrational frequency. You can see in the chart that on the screen that your high vibrations are going to be love, kindness, compassion, forgiveness. And the lower emotions, the lower frequencies are going to be anger, frustration, depression, and you can gauge where your life is by looking at this chart. And we exist, we're humans, so we exist in this whole spectrum. And as holistic healers, our job is to help you go from the lower vibration and reactions to the higher vibrations because that's where you're going to feel the best. That's where your thoughts are going to be positive. Not all the time. That's okay because we're human, but you're going to be able to maintain that state for longer periods of time. And you're going to be able to tell what's blocked and what's not. Susan, what's next?
That was a great description of all that. And it's exciting to understand how emotions flow through our body. And so emotions do get stored in our body. And so maybe you had something again that made you really angry. Jennifer mentioned it when you're in the car and something really ticked you off and made you angry. Those emotions get stored in different parts of our body. And then they can show up as pain, irritation. They really do show up as pain or tension in our body. And so it's interesting and more common to think about when we have a pain that it doesn't isn't necessarily from an injury, but it can be from an emotion that gets we use the word trapped in a lot of our modalities and our thinking about emotion. They get trapped somewhere. They might be trapped in your heart. They might be trapped in your gut, your legs. And it depends on what that emotion is and where the area that your body tends to absorb that kind of stuff. And it's different for everybody where that might be, but it can lead to, again, a physical discomfort and anxiety, even over time and illness. And so, a lot of what Jennifer and I do when we're working with our clients is When there is something going on that's in disharmony in the body, we check what the body is telling you about that discomfort. And more often than not, it is an emotion that is stuck in there. And then what we do is we address how to process that through the body, how to let that kind of be complete and done and moved out so that is not any longer being held in your body.
You can tell by certain negative behavioral patterns, certain negative thought patterns that are reoccurring. You can also tell by fatigue, depression, and consciously self-sabotaging. And meaning something you're doing is bad, is not good for you, but you still do it anyway. And that those are all signs and symptoms of a trapped emotion. And Susan's going to give you an example.
Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that. A lot of emotions that I would say women have, it's stereotypical, but a lot of times we'll hold the emotion of stress in our neck and shoulders. You know, and it's a lot of that, the weight of the world is on my shoulders. Those are almost beliefs as well as emotions that get held right in that upper area right there. And when you can take a breath and tune in and listen to what your body is telling you about that, what is being stored in there, and if that really is something that serves you, and by addressing and asking it and bringing it to your awareness, then it has a place to move. Maybe there's an action that you have to take. Maybe there's some interaction that you have to have with somebody, or you need to say, you know what, this isn't mine to hold on to anymore. I'm choosing to let it go. And you literally can feel the weight of that lifting off. And this isn't just a one off thing. You can do this with all of these kind of emotions and beliefs that are held in your body.
Wow. That is so incredibly powerful. And I wanted to give you another example of how trapped emotions can affect our behavior. I have a client who was in the first Gulf War and he was also in Panama and Grenada. So he's a little older. And prior to working with me, couldn't handle the 4th of July because of the fireworks going off, because that immediately brought him back to his time in war. And I could tell when the 4th of July was coming up. Usually he's a pretty amiable guy, but he started tensing up. And this is also part and parcel of post traumatic stress, which is an extreme version of all of that being trapped in the body. And you could tell him do that and get anxious and worried. And as soon as we released all of that from his body, his shoulders dropped, like Susan said, and he was able to breathe. And another example of that is trapped emotions and trauma being stored in the body and in the brain. Is I have a client who went through who was physically and mentally abused as a child. So she would go into a room and she would look around and see what people were doing and see how they react with each other before she reacted. So she was technically reading the room, reading the energy of the room, reading the emotions of the people. Anytime that there was a sound that she didn't recognize, what's that? And she asked thousands of questions. How are you doing? Are you okay? What's going on? What did you do today? Because she wanted to find out how she was going to react because of all of that trauma and all of those emotions trapped in her body. And as soon as we started releasing some of these emotions, the questions died down. It's still a work in progress because
We
it's
all
a
are.
yeah, it's a journey, not a destination. I can see in her body and in her mental state less anxiety, less stress, shoulders coming down, being able to breathe. So, those are examples of how trapped emotions affect our physical and mental well being and wellness. You said before about the importance of validating. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Validating and acknowledging that there's something going on in your body that is putting you off. It's not your healthy, upbeat, feeling good state. And we don't want to say, oh, that didn't happen, or there's something bad or wrong about this. It's your body is indicating that there's something that's not for its best. It's not keeping it strong and healthy and positively moving forward. And we want to be able to, again, notice that. And noticing that is listening to that so that you can choose what your next step is.
Yep.
You and your body can choose what your next step is to move forward.
I
So,
love that because I love the fact that you're allowing yourself to give yourself choice rather than shove it away. As long as I don't pay attention to it, it's gone. And what we know is the more you resist, the more it persists. And acknowledging and validating, yes, this is how I feel. Yes, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual, gives you choice. I love the way you said that. Gives you choice and how you are going to react and what next steps you're going to take. That is such an important way of looking at it because now you have choice. Once
yes,
once you're aware and once you acknowledge, now you have choice.
sorry. And you are in control of that choice. This doesn't have to do with anybody else. This is you. You can tune into what's going on. You can have this conversation and this awareness of what's going on. You can receive that understanding of even why it happened. And that so much of what Jennifer and I do are when you're noticing something, but you can't get the details enough to help it move forward, to know your next step. We are helping with that awareness, giving the clarity of the next steps to take so that you can choose to take that step and let these things move and let your body feel better.
Yeah. And not only your body, but your mental state feel better. And that's where your belief systems come into
Mhm.
your health, your wellness, and your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual wellness. So these two topics dovetail together. That's why we're putting them in the same episode because your emotions affect your beliefs, and your beliefs affect your emotions. So
Right.
I'm going to get a little technical here and talk about brainwaves because that's going to set up how our subconscious works. So right now we're in beta. So hopefully you're actively listening and you're engaged in what we're saying and we're awake, we're alert, and your brainwaves are moving at a certain pace. And then you go into alpha, which is that relaxed state, which is you're not quite asleep, you're not awake yet. It's that relaxed, oh, this is nice. And you're breathing easy. And then there's theta. And that is your brain is slowing down even more. And you are asleep, you are in REM sleep. And what several different modalities believe is that when you're in theta, everything goes in. And this is important because between the ages of 2 and 7, a child's brain is mostly in theta. So that's why they call it the formative years. Your brain is growing exponentially as that child, and everything goes in. They don't have the ability to say, oh, this is, they may feel bad, but they don't understand why they feel bad. They don't have the conscious ability to go, no, that's not me. I'm not doing that. So, all of those things are setting up your belief systems and they're going directly into your subconscious mind. So we have two different minds. Technically, we have the conscious mind, that's your logical mind. So everything we want everything to go from A to B to C to D. It should all work out fine. But then you have your subconscious mind. So these are where your beliefs are stored and your emotions and everything that's ever happened to you has been recorded in your subconscious mind. So when we react to something, we're reacting not to what's happening now. we're reacting based on whatever happened generally between the ages of 2 and 7. And I wish I could remember who said this, but this person said, your financial situation, all your financial decisions are being made by that 5-year old because that's when your beliefs were created because you were in a constant theta state. For me, it was never enough. At that time, I had 6 brothers and sisters, and then another one came later, and my mom was a single mom. So I remember her sitting at the table crying, trying to figure out who was going to get what, how the bills were going to get paid, how things were going to get distributed. So, what did that create in me? There was never enough. So, that belief system followed me for most of my life. It no longer does because I've used the techniques that we're going to show you later and other techniques that Susan and I do to help you shift that belief. So your subconscious is designed to keep you safe, and safe means the same. So once it's in there, it's in there. It doesn't assign a good or bad. Our conscious mind assigns good or bad. So one of the reasons why, if you try to change your life, like what New Year's resolutions, you go hot and heavy, really great. Oh my God, I'm crushing it. And then a month later, you're like, no, you forget about them. And then sometimes you feel bad about that. So your belief system just created a negative emotion in you, and vice versa. The reason is your subconscious is telling you that change is bad, whatever that change is, even if it's something you desperately want. That's why you need a practitioner like me and Susan to be able to guide you through that process because your subconscious is going to distract you. It is a great distractor. It's going to tell you, oh, no, it's bad. Don't change. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then you're going to not do it. You're going to create circumstances and situations in your life so that you don't change. And that's why it's important that you work with a practitioner who knows how to guide you through that change and get you through that resistance. Does that all make sense? Does that all make sense?
Making sense to me.
Okay.
And I'll share a couple more things because this again is a new concept to think about for a lot of
For a
people.
lot of people.
That there's things that are stored consciously, unconsciously, what that means. And so we're trying to just help you understand that not everything is above the surface where you can adjust and react and understand it. Some of it gets stored again in such a deeper, lower level, but that doesn't mean we can't affect it. Being aware of that, this discussion that we're having right here, gives you more knowledge and support to be able to address those
Yep,
different things that are going on in our life. And the subconscious, which seems like it has our experiences flow through that part first
exactly.
before you can get to even what was consciously going on. And so life gets navigated from a whole different level that we may not understand.
Mhm.
So our help here for you is, let you get a little understanding that there's more than meets the eye sometimes. And
Yep.
the energy of these emotions, the energy of these beliefs can be looked at to see,
Mhm.
life can flow more easily, more in the direction that supports you by looking at some of those things.
Yep. I wanted to add how all that affects how a belief system that was created when you were a child affects now. So I have a client who now is going gangbusters. But when she was a little girl, the teacher asked, I think she was like 6, asked a question of the class and she knew the answer. So she raised her hand and she's, oh my God. And the teacher made fun of her. For whatever reason, a teacher made fun of her. So what that did was it closed her down. And she's, Jen, I want to be able to speak my message. I want to be able to raise my hand. And that's what she kept saying. I want to be able to raise my hand and say, yes, I am here. I can help you. I have this wonderful message that I want to give out to the world. But every single time she came close to it, she would shut down and wouldn't do it. because that teacher making fun of her when she was 6 between the ages of 2 and 7 created it, not only created the energy of the emotion of, "Ooh, that oh," but also created a belief that every single time I try to raise my hand, I try to speak out, I'm gonna get shut down or I'm gonna get made fun of. So
It's
that
amazing
yeah.
how those things from school, yes, God, 75, 80% of the people that I'm working with that are not moving forward in the way that they want to move forward has
Mhm.
something to do with when they tried to do something when they were younger. At school is such a huge one that they felt embarrassed, they felt not listened to, they felt not encouraged in what
Yep.
they were doing. And sadly, it's happened so often. Why it has to happen that often, I don't know, but it has. What we perceive and what we take on truly is so impactful from that early age all the way through to what's going on with you as an adult.
Yeah, and she's in her 60s. So
Right.
that affected her for 60 years, 50 years.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about different ways of managing that, but a lot of times understanding it, noticing that's come up and it's pulled straight back to there. Sometimes forgiving that teacher,
Yeah.
in your
Yes.
thoughts, can be a way of release. And we're gonna talk about some of those different techniques that help things process. That Jen and I, as some of our modalities and certifications that we've learned, are some of those ways of helping in a different way that truly can more permanently release. And a quick list of kind of some of the things that we do now are the emotion code, EFT, emotional freedom technique, energy medicine, theta healing, access consciousness. There's a whole bunch of pieces that these different modalities are getting to different emotions, different stressors, different things that are stored in our being. Angel therapy, which we'll talk a little more about on our next
Oh,
episode, way of intuitive healing techniques. These are all ways of looking at the energy of these different parts of our being, the physicality, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, and picking and choosing how to
mhm.
move forward in a way that the body can respond to.
So, Susan, I have a question for you. So, what are some common limiting beliefs?
I'm not good enough. I'm not loved,
That's a big one.
almost. That's a big one. I'm not wanted. I'm not
That's another big
accepted.
one.
There's more of, I'm overwhelmed. I'm anxious. But the belief part is more of some of those underlying feelings and sensations, I'm not safe, that really have
Oh,
such a control on how we move forward. I don't deserve this. This is bad. Even things like this is good, this is bad, they can shape what shows up for you, good or bad, right or wrong, because a belief has been put on that way of being that is limiting. So they can be negative, they can be positive, they can be any
mhm.
form, but they're limiting how your body responds and reacts. I have one that's seems like it's showing up more recently that I'm scared to move forward.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
the physical body that often takes that on are your hips and your knees. And
Yes.
so it's almost like you're putting a barrier there and you get pain in your hips, pain in your knees. You can't move forward because your body is trying to filter through this belief that I can't move forward, or I'm scared to move forward, or I'm afraid of moving forward because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm afraid of the future. I'm afraid of the past. There's so many things that our mental body can take on, thoughts and beliefs that truly then work through our whole physicality and mental structures that stop us from moving in some way.
Yeah. And our subconscious is going to create those situations and circumstances, create pain, physical pain, and create anxiety and create overwhelm to stop you. So I love what you said about it creates a barrier to moving forward because that's exactly what it is. And when I was going through a really rough period of my life, I kept saying, I feel like I'm walking through mud. And that was my body's way of one, slowing me down because I was going a million miles, doing a million different things all at once. But I realized it was my beliefs and my thoughts and my emotions making me feel like I was walking through mud. So that's one way that negative beliefs or limiting beliefs can affect your mental and physical health. And Susan, I want to give an example of my mother because I love
Mhm.
my mother. She's in spirit now. She was an amazing woman when she was younger. She was one of the first Boy Scouts of America's female commissioners. And granted, she had 8 kids. So she was a go getter when she was younger. In her later life, I remember the day, I remember the moment that she created this belief that if I am sick, I will get attention. If I am sick, my husband will stay because my stepdad and my mom were having marital problems. So she started creating, not consciously, the belief was created consciously and then it filtered into her subconscious. So she started creating a whole host of illnesses so that my stepdad would stay and take care of her. So that's how she got her needs met. And he did. And he took care of her the rest of her life for another 10 years. So that was a 10-year journey that they both went on. And I saw it in her eyes. And she actually said those words out loud. If I am sick, he will stay and I will get my needs met. She had an incredible fear of abandonment. All of that dovetailed together to manifest her physical illnesses. And they were physical. It was painful, not only for me to watch, but she was in physical pain. And I didn't have the skills I have now to help her through that because this was a while ago. My mom's been in spirit since 2009. And now I would be able to help her through that or refer her to someone like you who deals with a lot of physical pain and a lot of all of that emotion and trauma trapped in her body. So it's amazing what our subconscious, our conscious mind, and our bodies all working in tandem can create, good or bad, good or bad. So even a positive belief can be a negative thing in our life. And I'm going to give you an example of a belief. I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve others. What happens is that most people would think that's a really great positive belief to have. But sometimes our subconscious will take it to the extreme and then say, I have to serve. What happens then is that our subconscious ties us up in knots to prove that to be true every single time. And that doesn't give us choice. And what Susan said earlier is we want to give ourselves choice. So even a positive belief can have a negative impact on our life.
And even that one is, I need to serve others, often doesn't translate into, I need to take care of myself
Yep.
first, which
Absolutely.
which we absolutely need to do. We need to be in our best place to serve others and be who we need and get to be in this world. And
Fill our cup.
so, yeah, having those beliefs so that we are well supported first in the best ways, and then we can do what we are meant to do for others. Yeah, thank you for sharing those great examples. Oh my gosh.
I know. I love
Okay.
them. So our next topic is we want to do a little overview of some things that we're going to do. So, one of the things that you can do to help change your belief systems and your emotions are affirmations and intentions. So, an affirmation, you're stating that in the positive. I have this in my life now, whatever that is. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am wise. I am compassionate. And our intention, that's something that's going to happen in the future. So, I intend this to be true. I intend this to happen. And at first, you're going to feel like you're lying to yourself, especially if you're like, I am wealthy and you're dead broke and have zero money in your bank account. But it's called programming. We're programming your brain and programming your conscious and your subconscious mind. Because if it's repeated enough, you will believe it. You will eventually start to believe it. So, Susan, you had something you wanted to say about the affirmations and intentions.
Those last words you said, the believe it. how things show up in us and in our body, we need to believe it first to see it. A lot of the phrase that people will use is, "I need to see it first. If I'm gonna believe it, that's a reality, I need to see it first." But that's really not how it works. To truly see what you want to see, you've gotta believe it. You've gotta believe it first. And that's believing it in your thoughts and in your mind and in how you visualize what's going on is actually the first step. And the affirmation and intentions just give that some meat, some structure to be able to have your thoughts build on, to be able to create those dreams, those goals, the what you want to see. So again, believing it first is what allows it to become your reality. And when we consistently put out intentions, affirmations, doing different visualizations, you're building new pathways for your brain and giving them the energy to be created and move and travel. So, wanted to share
Yeah,
that.
I love what you said about the pathways because that's so important because it's you probably hear this too, and I hear it too. I'm stuck in a rut.
Yes.
I'm stuck in a rut. And so that's like being okay, we need to create new pathways. We need to start saying different things and to ourselves and then eventually believe it so we can see it and create a different pathway, create something entirely new. So that to me was like, oh my God, that's so profound.
Okay, so I'll add on to that is this visualization. So we can again reprogram is the phrase that we use, reprogram those beliefs, those emotions, those experiences
Mhm.
through visualization.
Yeah,
And it helps change those again those mental patterns that then drive the communication of what's going on in your experience. And people may have heard that the brain really doesn't know the difference between a real experience and a visual experience.
imagine.
It's still walking through in your brain what's going on, what can be created, what you want to be created. And the brain doesn't, again, know the difference between that visualization and that it hasn't been done. That's not a truth in your reality yet. And so the more time we can spend, which is what we do in these, of guiding yourself through or being guided through the visualization and the words and the thoughts of what you want to create, is that's what manifestation, co-creation, creating the experience that you want, all of that is putting that out there so that it can be seen.
Exactly. And as you said before, consistency is the key. And a couple of things that I like to do, like to tell my clients is to, and we've said this before, get a journal. You don't have to spend a lot of money. It could be a notebook. Some people use note cards and write them down as you experience these emotions, as you experience these beliefs. It's important to write them down because as I said, I literally just said this to a client, this becomes the basis of your healing. This becomes the basis of what we're going to work on. You can set an alarm in your phone for these intentions and these affirmations so that you remind yourself to say. And I want to introduce, because we're going to go through the exercises, I want to introduce a concept of tracking your emotions and tracking these beliefs. It's a concept that I learned through EFT, emotional freedom technique. And it's a concept of 0 to 10. 0 is no emotion, no triggers, nothing. It's okay. It happened, whatever. To 10, everything is off the charts. I am full blown in my anger. I am full blown in my anxiety. And you can rate where you exist on that chart. And the reason why we're asking you to rate things from 0 to 10 is so that you can notice a change. You can
Yeah.
become aware of a change. And if it's not changing, okay, we know where to work. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Definitely. So that the last thing I'll add with that is this validating where you're at is what helps you
Mhm.
See the change, know the change, and be this new change that you're operating in.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so the first
Let's
one.
hop in to the exercises,
I
and I
know.
want you to, yeah, go for it, Jennifer.
All right. So the first one is an emotional release. This is a very short meditation that you can come back to time and time again. So what you're going to do, you're going to get out your journal, and whatever emotion you are experiencing that you don't want to experience, write it down. You can even write down the situation that it was created to bring up some of those emotions and rate them on a scale of 0 to 10. So this is what I want you to do. Do not drive while you're doing this. Do not operate heavy machinery while you do this. So find a quiet, comfortable space. And we're going to close your eyes and we're going to take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, in through the nose and out through the mouth, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I want you to visualize, however you see, feel, hear, or know, that there's a white light entering your body. And as you inhale, the white light's coming down. And as you exhale, all those negative emotions are leaving your body. So inhale the beautiful healing white light. Exhale and release the negative emotions. So you can actually focus on one emotion as you do this. Feel where it's stored in your body. Is it in your chest, your stomach, your throat? Is it sharp, dull, cold, hot? Does it feel like electricity moving through your body? All of those are telling you that you have an emotion trapped there. So you can gently place the hand, right or left hand, on that area. And then send this loving white light to that spot. And breathe in, and the white light is going to come through your body to that spot. And as you exhale, release that negative emotion. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, release, let go, let go. And you can imagine that the white light is dissolving that blockage, dissolving that emotion, and it's coming out through your breath. And continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you can say, I release this emotion. I allow this healing to take place. And I replace it with peace, love, and kindness. And take one more deep breath in and out. I want you to gently come back. When you're ready, open your eyes. You can stretch. And when you're ready, get out your notebook and check into your body. What has changed? Has the emotion, has the intensity of that emotion changed? And rate it. And if it's not yet a 1 or 0, come back to this exercise. That's the beauty of this exercise. You can do it at any time and as many times as you like. Susan,
Beautiful.
what did what did you experience?
And I picked my emotion that I had, and it was something that happened this morning, and I rated it, and it was about a 7, which was like,
Wow.
that shocked me that it was that high, but I could feel it in my body for sure, and I felt it in my throat. And so as you were leading us through that, acknowledging it, first of all, and then I found myself bringing that white light in, and I couldn't help it. I was moving it out with my hand, and then allowed all of that fully clear. and then could bring it back what you said, that just that love and that peace and whatever you need to come back in its place. And then when I re-rated it, it was a 0, and I could feel that ease and peace in my whole body. So thank you again. And
You're
sometimes we
welcome.
need the walking through of that with this, to take the time to do it and to notice and to
Mhm.
rate. Like Jennifer said, listen to this again because wow, it truly makes such a difference. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I'm excited for the next one.
Okay, so in this one, I call it a belief reprogramming visualization, for lack of a better phrase, and we're going to jump right into it. So I want you to grab out your journal again, and I'm going to write this one down for now, of a limiting belief that we want to transform, because this is one that happens to happen for a lot of people. You can write down whatever you want, but we're going to use the example, I am not deserving of love. So if you write
Mhm.
that down in your journal, again, take a breath and rate that from 0 to 10. Whatever is 10 being that the most true for you. And then I want you to, again, get in that meditative state, close your eyes, take a couple breaths, and then visualize that belief as a dark cloud. It's kind of floating above your head, dark cloud floating above your head. And then imagine a beam of bright beam of light descending from above, pouring into that dark cloud, wherever that exists. Maybe it's closer to you, maybe it's farther away, maybe it's inside. Wherever that is, that bright beam of light is dissolving that dark cloud. And as that's dissolving, I ask to replace that limiting belief with something empowering. I am worthy of love. I'm deserving of love. I am loved. Whatever resonates, to replace with an empowering belief. And then see that new belief as golden bright light entering your mind, entering your heart. I am worthy of love. Repeating that empowering belief out loud or silently as many times as you feel. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of love. And as that's pouring in, feeling the truth of that, reclaiming its space and resonating within you. Take another breath. Allow yourself to come back to this space, wiggling your hands and your feet.
Wow.
And then in your journal, take a moment to rate that intensity again of how true that belief feels to you now. And again, a scale of 0 to 10. How true does that feel? 10 is fully true, 0 no longer true. Jennifer, what's your
Wow.
experience?
Okay. The Peanuts, the cartoon strip.
Yes.
So I can't remember. I think it's Pigpen that always has the cloud and has,
Yep.
yeah. So that's what I saw when you said, imagine it as a dark cloud. And then when the light came down and it dissolved, it turned into Peppermint Patty. Because Peppermint Patty, I love her character because she's always true to herself and she always has confidence. So she always believes in herself. And I was like, okay, that's." And then when I opened my eyes, when I came back to myself, I'm like, dang, I am loved. And it reminded me of the love my husband has for me and my family has for me. And it's, oh, okay. I no longer need that belief that I am not loved or I'm not worthy of love because I am loved. And it brought back to those situations where, yes, I am. It proved I am loved and it proved that to be true. Wow, that was super powerful. What a great visualization.
Yeah. Thank you all who are with us in this episode. And feel free to go to our QR codes and let us know how you experience that and what you notice from that and the goodness that's bringing into your life, these couple of exercises and this learning.
We hope
Jan, would you conclude, give us a wrap up of today?
we hope you have a better understanding of how emotions and beliefs affect your life, what you allow in your life, and how you navigate your life, and how processing and changing and shifting, either using these exercises or with practitioners like me and Susan, how you can better embrace and have a great life with more joy, less pain, more ease, because that's what we do. We love to help you through that and navigate your world more peacefully.
Ah, perfect ending to our Wellness Way episode today. Next time, we are going to be talking about angels. These are near and dear to my heart. They are, in my mind, the absolute greatest resources that we have from
Mhm.
God to support and navigate and create our best lives. Get ready to join us next time as we talk about the angels.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.